What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down 120.2, and we are continuing our playthrough of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
And yeah, back on it. We're doing 2 chapters. One chapter's long, the other one's kind of short, but that's okay. Matt was traveling, obviously, so it was kind of difficult to find time. Also, I had to work a lot this past weekend, so I'm currently on day 15 without a day off. So, when can I play video games? But I did squeeze in some time.
Distracted in this game by the side missions. I spent a lot of time doing the part-time hero missions and then some of the business management stuff.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. So the business management stuff has taken me by my collar and shaken me, because I am now rank 46, 47, somewhere around in there.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
I have
aiming for number 1.
Oh, I'm going for number 1. I'm going to get it too. And I finally got down kind of like the proper way to do everything, I think. I haven't had to take out a loan or anything like that, so we're good there. I have done so well that Ari has joined my party.
Oh, very
so
nice.
I have another party member who is not in any cutscenes.
Yeah, I was going to say, the story is, pretty focused, but is she just hanging out in the background or what?
So she's not in any of the cutscenes, but when the cutscene ends, you see her fade back into existence.
It was all a dream.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but yeah, she's in my party. She's a clerk. That's her starting class. The clerk class has some decent abilities. She has this thing where she throws thumbtacks at guys, and it's nice. It's like a nice little shotgun blast that can hit multiple enemies. And she uses a box cutter for her attacks. So,
I think I just sold a box cutter because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Nobody can use it.
Yeah. I think that's exclusive to her. I could be wrong, but I think that's kind of like her exclusive job. I don't know if Seiko can change to a clerk.
I'm probably going to keep doing that mini game because it is the fastest way to get money for sure, right?
Yeah, probably. After every shareholder meeting, you get a bonus if you succeed, obviously. And those bonuses get increasingly better. So yeah, I mean I would say that's probably a nice, easy way to get some cash. Truth be told, or go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that getting cash was the reason I kind of started some of these detours, and I spent a lot of time on the part-time hero stuff, but as soon as you get to a fight there that is hard, it takes forever.
What do you mean?
Right? If I've got an enemy that's 5 or 6 levels above me, I just feel like it's taking me 20 or 30 minutes real time to take them down. Just like dozens and dozens of rounds where I'm doing maybe a couple hundred points of damage, but I only have 3 party members, and one of them has to heal the whole time because the guy's so much ahead of me level wise, so that the other 2 really aren't doing all that much damage. And I got into 2 fights like that took ages. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try the business management game because it's got to be faster to make money than these.
So I haven't done many of the part-time hero things. In fact, I don't know if I've done any at all. So the part-time hero stuff, when you engage in those fights, do you know beforehand if this is going to be a hard fight or not? Like, do they say levels or anything like that?
I don't know if they say levels. They definitely say payouts. So that's,
okay.
The payout is going to scale with difficulty.
Sure.
So any of the $15,000 or $20,000 fights are not too difficult, but a couple of the $30,000 fights are the ones that took me ages.
Okay.
And then I did a $10,000 fight, and it's done in like 3 or 4 rounds.
So how do you find those on the map? I feel like I'm missing something because I can see the part-time hero where you can turn in quests, and I never have a quest to turn in.
Yeah. These are throughout the map. It's the same logo, I think. It's like that blue logo. That's the part-time hero logo.
Right.
And if it's just got a little exclamation mark on it, then there is an active quest there. I feel like at any given time, there's at least 4 or 5 on the map.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think I just may have skipped some of them. I did do some of these sub stories. Some of them I just ran into, and some of them I was like, let's finish this. I was able to get a couple of more pound mates out of it.
Oh, good.
I got the one where the homeless guy who goes to the kitchen, or not the kitchen, but the soup kitchen
lady. Yeah.
Yeah, I got her as a pound mate now. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but I did get the crawfish as a pound mate.
I still need to go find him. I've done a lot of starting. I've started probably 8 or 10 or 12 quests, but I think I've only finished like 2 or 3.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of it was. I mean, I probably spent 3 or 4 hours doing the business management stuff.
Nice. I only did the first. I don't know if it's broken up really into rounds, but I just did it to the point where you get to a ranking of less than 100 in the top 100.
Yeah.
So I just did that. The first time I did the shareholder meeting, I did nothing. I didn't know what to do at all, and just immediately lost completely.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they do a really bad job of describing what to do there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at all. And the second time, I'm like, all right, I looked it up. I'm like, I know what to do, but I was so slow doing it that I still lost the second one as well. And then I think I won the next 3 or 4 in a row to get to under 100.
Truth be told, one of the best characters you can bring into the shareholder meeting is the chicken.
I always bring him. He's blue, right? He's my only blue guy that I bring in.
Yeah, but it doesn't
two
cost
greens and a red.
Yeah, it doesn't cost any much stamina to actually use her attacks. So,
good.
Yeah, just bam, 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 spam it. But yeah, I got really into that. I now have 4 properties. And I'm bringing in.
My next thing to do is finally buy my second property, because I've been upgrading the first property. I wasn't kind of sure what I should be upgrading until I upgraded like production capacity, and all of a sudden, I went from making like 150,000 per round every time I opened to like 500, and then up to like 1 million every round. So I'm like, all right, this is feels like the best thing to upgrade.
Yeah.
Did you max out the first building and straight away, or did you expand into other properties? How did you go about
that? I started with buying a second property. It was a nightclub, and I specifically put employees there that were specializing in nightclub stuff. And then I upgraded the nightclub all the way, and I almost kind of just abandoned the Ichiban confections like that, the one you start with. But I then started upgrading that one, and that one's potential can keep going even higher. And then once you get past the top, I think it's the top 100, or no, maybe, yeah. What's the first threshold? Top 100?
Yeah, first threshold is top 100, and then after I won that, what's his name? Otagi? The guy who's funding you?
Yeah.
He basically called back and said, here's $50 million more. I'm like, all right, I can finally buy another property.
Yeah. So I was able to get past that threshold, and I think, Matt, you may already have the ability to have Eri in your party. I thought it was the first threshold she joins the party.
You have to go meet her, because as soon as I made it to the threshold, she, we said, oh, let's go grab a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, go talk to her at the Survive bar.
Yeah,
and
that's what she'll do next.
Yeah, she'll join your party.
That's good.
Speaking of Survive bar, did you finally understand my reference on who is running the Survive bar?
No, I have not been there yet. I don't think.
You haven't been to Survive bar yet?
Is that the hideout?
Yeah, the hideout where you can level up your affinity with your party members.
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. You don't recognize the guy that runs the bar?
I don't think I did.
Okay. Let me. I said it was a dead man, right?
Yeah.
So we've met him before, particularly in Yakuza 1 and 2. That is Kashiwagi. Do you know who I'm talking about when I say Kashiwagi? No?
No.
Okay. He was the captain of the Kasuga clan, or Kasuga family. He was Kiryu's direct supervisor.
Oh. Oh, shit, yeah.
The guy with the big scar on his face?
Yeah.
The guy who gets machine gunned by a helicopter?
Yeah, I liked him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Apparently he survived.
Is it officially him?
That's him.
Or just the same character model?
No. That's him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had to look it up because I was just like, that's got to be him, right? And sure enough, it is.
He named the bar Survive after surviving the encounter with the helicopter.
There you go. So yeah, that's him. So that's there's another link to there's another link to the Tojo clan. I'm assuming if you level up your characters enough, he'll finally come out and say, yeah, I was part of the Tojo clan at one point.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, story-wise, last we left off, we were instructed to go and get proof evidence that there really is a turncoat in the Chinese mafia. So, oh man, what's his name? The Majima acting dude, boss.
That's not Zhao. Zhao?
Zhao. Yeah, Zhao.
Yeah.
He tells us to go talk to the Guillemon?
Yeah, I think it's Gomi Jewel.
Gomi Jewel? Gomi Jewel?
I thought it was Guillaume Jewel last time, but it's Gomi Jewel.
Yeah. Which is the Korean mafia. And
very Matrix style hideout.
Yeah, right? So we just kind of like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to go into their territory.
It's a very Ichiban thing to do, right? He's like, consequences be damned. This is the thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to go do it. I'm very plucky.
Yeah. So we go up to I guess Little Korea. I don't know what they call it, but
Koreatown.
Yeah. And when we go up there, we meet this woman, this purple-haired woman that all the guys are fawning over. Sayako's like, would you guys shut up?
Yeah.
And she's like, yep, I'm part of it. I'm part of the Goma Jewel. If you want to talk to the boss, you're going to have to follow me. They're like, okay. So we follow her, and she takes us up to kind of like these apartment buildings, and go into a mini dungeon because all of a sudden she just disappears, and there's a whole bunch of enemies around. Like, it was a setup. And of course, Sayako's like, I told you it was a setup. Why are you doing this?
We're like, all right, well, we're still going to go to the top floor because that's where we need to be.
Yep. He's like, well, that's where we can meet the boss at the top floor. So let's go. So we go through like
confused. If you were just set up, why would you think they would meet with you anyway if you reached the top floor?
Well, I guess prove yourself. That's what they do in the Yakuza. You have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
So, this I would say, yeah, I would call this a dungeon. It's not a very long dungeon. There was a weird mechanic where you have to spot the enemies.
Yeah.
And I finally. So did you complete that?
I did. The first 5 I found easily.
Yeah.
And the very last one, who was like right behind a burning barrel.
Yes.
Was the one I couldn't see him until the very end. I just got lucky and happened to notice his face.
Yep. That was the same for me. But yeah, we were able to fight those guys off. Eventually we make it to the top and we figure out why they're siphoning all this electricity off of the other buildings around town. We meet with the white-haired guy. And he's like, "Hey, you're that guy that helped us." Yep. Once you step in, we got to show you something. We step in, and like you said, it's like the Matrix. It's like tons. It's basically the Florist all over again. It's a network of security cameras and surveillance everywhere, where you can basically see the entire city. So they've got that set up. They are the eyes and ears of this town. And they're like, "Okay, well, we said we're going to meet your boss." And so he turns to the purple-haired girl, and there she is. "You're the boss." "Okay. What's going on here?" And she's like, "I want to show you guys something." And so she shows us this machine, very futuristic looking machine. At first I thought it was like, are they making like alien tech? But yeah,
they're kind of resurrecting something or making something. Yeah, wasn't sure exactly what we were looking at.
But basically, they have a high tech printing press for currency, and they are making fake yen. And I don't know the names of these two people. Gumi Jewel, Yakuza, Like a Dragon.
Silver-haired guy?
Yeah.
Jun Gi-han.
Jun Gi-han?
Yeah.
And what was the girl's name? I can't remember.
That's a good question. I don't really remember that one.
Yeah, me either. I was going to call her Purple Hair Girl. That's fine. The boss that's going with Joel. She gives us this very, very long explanation of what's actually going on. She's like, "You guys don't get what's happening here. We're the peacekeepers. We are the ones who are basically keeping the Yakuza and the Liumang from killing each other. We've set up this whole operation where we can make fake money, fake yen, using the paper that's being imported by the Liumang, and then the Liumang can make their own fake Chinese money, and then the Yakuza gets their cut of the yen. It's all this one big circle. And that's how we're keeping everybody happy. If that falls apart, there's going to be an all-out war. Which, of course, Ichiban's like, there already is a war. And they said, well, that doesn't concern us. The only thing that concerns us is this money. Unfortunately, all of you now know about this. So you can't really leave. But she's like, especially you. And she points to Namba. And they're like, what's going on? Why are you out in Namba like that? She's like, why don't you go ahead and tell him? And Namba's like, yep, I've been using you guys to get close to these people because I'm looking for my brother. So apparently, Namba, 6 months ago, his brother went missing while he was investigating this whole fake money business. His brother's a reporter for a magazine or a local newspaper. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. And he just disappeared. So he went undercover as basically a homeless person to see if he could possibly infiltrate this organization. Lo and behold, here comes Ichiban, ex-Yakuza, who's been thrown in the mix. Oh, look, he also has a fake yen in his pocket. I'm going to follow this guy. And they're like, Namba can't leave. So they're going to take him. And Ichiban's like, nah, it's not going to happen. You guys are not taking him. That's right. And they're like, even after he just admitted that he's been using you this whole time, he's like, it doesn't matter. We've been through hell and back. He's my brother. You're not taking him. So we get into a big fight.
And forth there where like Nanba hears it and you can see him kind of react to it, though Ichiban can't see it. But then he's, he ends up going back and forth a few times over the next, 20 or 30 minutes of game. And, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic between them. The betrayal, but then the standing by him and support, and then still the, inability to really commit. I feel like Nanba's still a bit surprised by Ichiban's passion for sticking with him.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yep. So we have a fight with white-haired guy. He was pretty tough. He was basically like a bullet sponge, without using that term. Yeah. It's just a tank, basically. He did have a couple of status effect hits, but I didn't have any issue because I think this fight's supposed to be with only 3 people in your party. But guess what? I had my clerk with me, so it wasn't as hard.
A lot of these for me, yeah, I was just down a whole person.
Yeah.
Still am technically, so yeah, I need to go get her next up.
Yep. And so we're able to fight off a lot of the Gomi Jewel guys, and Namba, we tell Namba, get out of here. So he gets out, jumps out of a window. And so they're like, okay, here's the deal. We're sending assassins to go kill him because he has this information and we know he's going to leak it. And we can't let this out. So here's what you can do. We'll let you live, but you're going to have to bring him back to us. And of course, Kasuga's like, you're just going to kill him if we bring him back. And it's like, okay, well, either way, he's dead.
I like that they don't deny it.
Yeah. So you might want to go find your friend, because if our assassins find him, he's dead. So I think we were trying to rack our brains on where he may go, and the white-haired guy, I can't remember, what was his name again?
Jungi Han.
Jungi Han.
Jungi
Han.
I guess is his first one, and then Han, like Solo.
Jungi. So we'll just call him Jungi. He gives us a little hint saying, you might want to go check out Bleach Japan. And they're like, why would he go there? Because that's the only place we can't get to him. Or at least at this moment. And they're pretty much against all of this. So that would be the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. So that's what we do. We go to the Bleach Japan office.
First we go back to the homeless camp, right?
That's right.
Which is, to me, a very weird detour, because you go back there you don't really get any real clues, and then you just go on to what you were going to do anyway.
Yeah, well, that you get the information that the brother had been investigating that the somebody in the Senate or somebody really high up
Governor?
Was it the governor of Tokyo? The old guy. I can't remember. But he was the one that basically they were investigating about this whole money laundering scheme. So you get that little piece of information. When you go to Bleach Japan, you find Namba there. Sure enough, he did go there. But Bleach Japan is also in cahoots with the traitor in the Liomang. Which I take that back. We have another detour. We go to Bleach Japan at the very end of the chapter. Before that, we go to the gathering, if we remember the meeting that we had. Basically, all of them are there. So you've got the Siryu clan leader, which we've met before. You've got the Liomang leader, the Majima looking guy, Zhao. And then you have the Gomijul leader, which obviously was who invited us to this. That's where we get the information to go check out Bleach Japan. And they basically, yeah. So they basically are the ones telling us, hey, you know what, we got a good thing going here. And we don't need this getting out. So and of course, Casca's like, I can't believe you guys are just doing this because for a lot of money. Where's your honor? You know, he's always bringing that up. Where's your honor? And I think they kind of do like a small little history lesson of how everybody came into play here. I know that the Gomijul came out of the Korean mafia that Kiryu fought in the original games. Which, God, what was the name of that group? You remember?
The Jingwan Mafia?
The Jingwan Mafia. That's it. The Jingwan Mafia. Yeah. They were kind of like offshoots of that. And a lot of this stuff started way back in the day, like right after World War II. That's how like the Yakuza started forming. And a lot of these things were set up in place back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And it makes it feel there's some validity there with the older guy, the governor, I guess governor or whatever he is, because he's like in his 80s, I think, like 82 years old. So I was like, okay, well, maybe there is something there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his role was. Definitely wasn't the governor because that comes into play in the next section here.
Well, I'll get into that. I thought he was the mayor.
Yeah, maybe the mayor. That might be it.
No, I know. I mean the guy we're about to talk about. Wasn't he the mayor?
No, he's the governor.
He's the governor?
He's
okay.
Definitely the governor, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So that's when after we leave there, that's when we go to Bleach Japan. We go to Bleach Japan, and Namba's there taking refuge, but kind of find out, whoops, Bleach Japan's working with the traitor of the Liomang, which was, it starts with an M. Oh, crap, what is his name?
Nobuchi? No.
Who?
The guy we fight is Mabuchi.
Mabuchi, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've kind of partnered up with those people because they're totally fine with exposing this whole thing. And yeah, we have a nice big boss fight with Mabuchi.
I didn't think he was as hard as Jungi Han.
I don't definitely not. the fight did last a long time. Once again, another tank kind of character. He could bleed my characters, but I didn't think he was overly difficult.
Yeah, I was the same, and that's kind of what has triggered me to go on this money quest, because I feel like I've had, between these couple of bosses and between some of the part-time hero stuff, some of these fights are just lasting a long time. Like I'm at the point where there's no danger that I'm going to die, but it just takes forever to get through them. So either I just feel like I'm generally under-leveled, or I'm at the right level and I just don't have good enough gear.
Right.
So I'm just trying to max out some cash so I can upgrade some weapons.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet. What level are you think, right now, Matt?
Just about 23.
Okay. I think I'm just past 23. I think pretty much all my characters are like level 23. So I think that sounds about right. I know that, some of the boss fights will go up to like level 25, 26 kind of thing. And it doesn't seem to be, obviously it's going to take longer to beat those guys, but I think that's about right. I think obviously the boss fights are supposed to be hard, But yeah, Namba is we're just telling him like, hey, look, dude, like there's assassins after you. You really need to get out of town. And Namba is like, I'm not doing that. I'm only here for my brother. I'm going to find him. And these guys are going to help me find him. And he leaves with the Leomon guys. And we're like, great. So there was a boss of the, I don't know the guy's name, but there was a guy who was like the leader of Bleach Japan. He was there, and he left out too. And that's when we realized, oh crap, we probably just let go the guy who was running this whole turncoat thing. Like, well, we have to get some more information. Let's go to his office and see if we can figure out where he went, where he came from, that kind of thing. We go into the office, and Ichiban sees a picture on the wall, and he's taken aback. Oh my God, I know the guy in that picture, and it's the guy who's currently leading the Bleach Japan project, and somebody he recognizes shaking hands with him. The former guy who led Bleach Japan, who is also now the governor.
Stepped down to become the governor, right?
That's right. Is none other than the young master himself.
Which nobody else gets, because they only know him as the governor.
Yeah, that's the governor.
The name Ryo Aoki.
Aoki, yeah.
And so he's saying, no, I know this guy. He's dead.
It's like, yeah, supposedly he's dead. And they're like, okay. So that's when the chapter ends. And then we get some more information. So thanks to Dustin for telling us you need to play a little bit more into chapter 9. Because there's a long cutscene there that basically gives us a little bit more information. We go back to Survive Bar. And we're basically trying to figure out if this is true or not. So Ichiban's totally like, dude, for real, I know this guy. This is him. And they're like, well, that's not his name. Are you sure he's Arakawa?
He's not in a wheelchair. Like this, it doesn't seem like it's the same guy.
Yeah, he points that out. He's like, wait a minute, maybe that's not him, because young master was in a wheelchair. I'm like, do you not forget that he injected himself with a drug that let him walk?
And then Adachi's like, maybe he went to the U.S. where they can do anything.
Well, he did go to the U.S. Apparently, he studied at Harvard.
Yeah.
So they were like, maybe he got some kind of surgery it fixed, and he's like, that's not what the doctors here said. So they're like, okay, well, is it him? And he's like, I don't know. And then they're looking at pictures online, and they see him walking with the police chief. And they're like, Costco's like, wait a minute, I remember that guy. I know that guy from somewhere. And he thinks back, and he's like, that night we went to the cabaret club when we had that altercation with that cop, that's him. They were fighting.
Than they thought at the time.
Yeah. I was like, so wait a minute. You're telling me that the son of a leading Yakuza turned into the governor and also is in cahoots with the police chief. And he started this whole campaign of, clearing out Japan, getting rid of all the crime, running the Yakuza off. He gets them all ran off, right? All the Tojo clan is gone. They're dispersed. Then all of a sudden the Omni Alliance come in, right? And all of a sudden his dad or supposed dad is now the leader of the Omni Alliance. That sounds kind of crazy. So crazy it might just work. So yeah, that's I get the feeling that's going to be the story.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when they made that connection and Ichiban was like, "Oh, it's the young master," and then they did the flashback. I'm like, "Well, those two don't even really look all that similar."
They don't at all.
I wasn't sure. I'm like, is it just me? Because Ichiban's very convinced this is the same person. I'm like, but it just, I mean, it's not obviously not the same person, but it doesn't. If you showed me those two pictures, I didn't think it was the same person when he showed it. So I wasn't sure if I was missing something or if the game just wasn't as clear as Ichiban seems to think that it should be. So I didn't really know what to make of that.
I mean, I think that what Ichiban is saying is true. I just think that the character models don't really look right. Granted, it's been, 17 years?
And that was part of it. I'm like, all right, he's aged. But, a lot of times, what they do with the NPCs is they change them and, they'll take off a goatee and add on sideburns and, a ponytail. And they'll be like, it's a totally different person. And you're like, no, that's exactly the same person, just with different hair.
Sure.
Here, this is supposed to literally be the same person, and it didn't look at all the same to me. So I don't know. Maybe it was just a matter of time. Maybe he's not retaining his youthful look the same as some other people in Tokyo have. But something about it looked different to me.
Yeah, it definitely does look like a different person. But whatever.
I assume it's just us. It's not like in game. I don't know. Like, because Ichiban is convinced. I don't know if he has any picture. I don't know. I guess he wouldn't have any ability to have pictures from the past, right? Like it's not like he has a 20-year-old cell phone.
Yeah, true. I don't know.
I guess maybe the young master was famous enough that there should be pictures. So I wonder if he set down a picture of the governor and a picture of Arakawa that. If the other characters would be like, oh, yeah, obviously that's the same guy.
Yeah. My thing is like, so he distinctly remembers that night. He remembers the night that they went to the cabaret club because he remembers seeing the police chief there, right? How does he not remember the experimental fucking drug that he injected into himself to let him walk? Like, how does he not remember that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was as big a part of the night as anything because he was shocked when it happened.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm sure they'll finally get into it and it'll be like a big revelation for him. I'm just like, as the player, I'm like, do you not remember this? You remember every other detail about that night, but not that? I don't know. That's whatever. It's a video game. Shut up. That's all I need to do. That's all I have to say. So, But yeah, the last that last little bit. I mean, basically, after the big meeting, they were like, "Hey, your two factions are gonna start a war," and they're just like, "Let them fight." So now we're gearing up for a big invasion. It's gonna be a bloodbath, and that's basically where we stop. Is basically just we're going around the city to see how people's reaction is to the big fights that are happening around the town. So, yep. But that's where we stopped.
I was surprised that Chapter 8 was the first short one. At no point in this game have I thought, oh, that was a short chapter until Chapter 8.
Yeah, apparently that's the only one. I think I saw I think I was looking at like a fact or something like that saying this is the shortest chapter in the game. So, all right, we do have an email. Comes in from Dustin. And it's titled Kiryu Who? It says, hey guys, I gotta admit, I completely forgot about Kiryu and Majima being part of this world until the flashback talking about how the Omi alliance took over and the Tojo captains just left and disappeared, and it showed the backs of Dojima Majima and Sajima. And I'm like, oh yeah, those dudes are part of this world. Most of my playthrough was just doing every main quest once I lost Namba so I could just get back to a party of 4. I eventually got a 4th, and now I'm side questing again. I did unlock the hidden character. You only need to get in the top 100 companies. I think I have 7 pound mates now, and yeah, this game is fun. Hopefully you guys watch the opening of Chapter 9 since the story is finally starting to come together and getting interesting. I'm little into Chapter 10 and haven't hit the dreaded difficulty spike yet. I think there's 14 or 15 chapters, so we must be getting close. Till next time, Dustin. Yeah, so I can tell you specifically, because I deliberately looked this up, and I know the fight. Unfortunately, I know the fight. So I have spoiled myself on that. I'm not going to spoil anybody here. There's a boss fight that is major difficulty spike. Apparently, you will be fighting 2 enemies who are level 50.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And right before you go into that fight, right before you go into, I guess, the dungeon leading into that fight, you unlock the battle tower, like the arena. So basically, when you find out that the arena is open to you to use, that is when you need to know that the difficulty spike is coming up, and you need to go to the battle arena and grind some levels, get some money to get some better gear. That's what multiple people I've seen on forums and stuff have said, is you have to grind for that boss fight. So, and I think you are close to probably around level 30 when they introduce that fight to you. So
you're looking at least 15 levels to grind, 12 to 15
at least. So from what I understand, the battle arena does give you some good experience, and it does give you some, I think it also gives you some items and stuff too, so maybe you can craft some better stuff. I have switched Ichiban back to being the hero class, because, like I said, he does get that ability where once per fight, I think, he can be knocked out and then come back. So
that's key.
Yeah.
He did have one fight where he accidentally died. It wasn't even that hard of a fight, but he was taken down.
Yeah, you got a game over, did you?
Yeah, sort of. It was a game over, but then you just come right back and it says you've lost half of your money.
Gotcha. I feel like that's more debilitating than the game over.
Yeah, exactly. I would have rather had a game over.
Yep. Save
Also, I
often.
hadn't spent anything, so I was at a point where I had, at that point anyway, I had maybe 150,000 yen, so it was quite a lot for me at that point. I've gotten more now that I've been able to focus on money, but
So
I was
you
trying to
can
level up then.
you can prevent yourself from losing money if you deposit it into an ATM. So if you use an ATM, if you go to like a convenience store and use an ATM, you can deposit your money there and you'll never lose it. You basically lose what's in your pockets. So
Makes sense.
it might be the problem is that if you want to go to a store and buy something, can you use money that's in your ATM or do you have to go get it?
I assume you have to get it.
I would assume you have to get it too, and that sucks. You don't have a debit card. But yeah, that's it. If you would like to send an email, it is drew@ztgd.com. You can also tweet to us. I am at DMLFury. Matt is at REMGS. And the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. How you feeling about this, Matt?
I am really digging this game.
Me too.
Did not expect that the change in fighting alone would be an improvement for me. And then when the game started, I'm like, it doesn't really feel that different. But I feel like as the game has progressed, it's gotten more focused on some of the RPG aspects with the new job classes, with the new, weapons. I feel like other than a pretty clear upgrade tree, this feels more heavily RPG now than it even did early in the game, and almost everything about it, I'm enjoying.
I feel the exact same way. I think this is a fantastic entry, and I think it's a good move to have this going forward as the mainline Yakuza games, because I was getting kind of burned out on the beat 'em up style, and it felt. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I agree. I was getting a bit burned out. I felt like the combat was never not that it was never interesting, but the last few games especially, there was no need for it to be interesting. Like I wasn't really selecting skills that were critical to my success or failure. I was just mashing everybody, and it was easy enough to do that. And so there was nothing interesting about it. Here, even if the fights themselves aren't interesting, everything else that goes into it is. So all those extra RPG elements feel A, fresh because we haven't had them, but B, they really add to the overall experience. I feel like it's a much more balanced game where the fights now and the preparation for the fights matter, and it's not just quests and side quests.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the story's good, and the characters are good. So it's not like it's traded anything to get that. It's only additive. It's only better, I feel, for it.
So let me ask you this, and this is a nice little sneak peek because I feel like we're halfway through this game. Where would this stand in your rankings of the Yakuza games?
Now it's definitely on track for being my second favorite.
Right below zero?
Below zero.
I'm probably going to say the same thing. I think Yakuza 0 has the best story out of all of them.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this story plays out, because it's hard to beat Ichiban. Ichiban is just a great character.
Agreed. And I'm having more fun playing this than I've had playing any other game.
Yeah, definitely. So there you go. I appreciate everybody listening. And if you guys are playing along, make sure you get those emails in. I know we got a few people playing along with us. So give us your thoughts on the game. But we're going to get out of here. Until next time, I am Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we're gone. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back next week with the continuation of Yakuza Like a Dragon.